One of the most interesting things over the weekend was perhaps David Cameron's piece in the Sunday Times. Interesting for lots of reasons. Quite a sort of speechifying piece with a lot of tough rhetoric about sort of standing up and standing shoulder to shoulder with the victims and calling for a response. But it left you begging the question, really, well, you know, what can he actually do apart from talk tough?
Yes, I mean, I think this is one of the things become clear over the weekend. I mean, as the stories about the missile in Ukraine and so on has become more and more, really, it's become ghastlier and ghastlier. I mean, the details of bodies being mistreated, of people going through and stealing people's belongings. As all of these awful human stories have come out, it's exacerbated the fact that there doesn't seem to be any political response. I mean, maybe there is no political response. Maybe David Cameron can't think of one. Maybe nobody can. But simply that hundreds and hundreds of people should be killed, and all these politicians make statements. President Obama giving a very major news conference, but there's lots of announcements about what has happened, but very little about what ought to be done about it.
Yeah, leaves the reader sort of thinking, well, is your aim just to look tough here and be the sort of moral leader against Russia? What actually can you? I mean,
President Obama gave basically a sort of what would ordinarily be a press spokesperson conference. I mean, he said what America currently knew, but that shouldn't be the president's job.
Yeah, and all this talk of sanctions. I mean, you know, if everyone doesn't act together, meaning sort of Japan in terms of sanctions, how worried is Russia going to be by this sort of tough talk?
I wouldn't have thought they'd be worried at all about this. I mean, there was a window when this first happened when it looked like this could actually be led back in such a way as to actually be a problem for Putin in particular. I think that point may already have passed.
I think one of the big things about this moment is it's a big challenge for Angela Merkel. The Germans have, it's part of that kind of Ostpolitik, they have pushed a more malleable line, a softer line towards Russia than some of the other countries in the EU. I think it's a big moment as to whether the Germans are prepared now to say that Putin has crossed the line and that the sanctions have to be increased in that way. And then I think the other thing is I think there's one set of sanctions that really worry Vladimir Putin, and that is sanctions aimed at him and his family. I mean, this is a man who likes his creature comforts, who likes his wealth. Hitting him there, I think, would be the thing that would draw, that would show him that the West really does mean business. The evil genius, in a way, of what Putin has done with the leaving the crash site, the moving of the bodies to the West. He's creating enough confusion that he's trying to say, well, you can't prove it. Where's your evidence? And by because he is playing by a completely different set of rules to anybody else, no one's ever going to be able to conclusively prove.
Well, they've destroyed the black box.
Exactly, because that is now gone off to Russia, etc., and all this. And I think that he is just going to carry on doing this, saying, well, I didn't do it.